Shalom. All praise to the Most High. All praise to His holy name. Today I'm speaking out of the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, assisted by other scriptures, line on line, precept on precept, here a little, there a little, including information that the Roman Catholic Pope had to tell us by necessity. Let's read some scripture. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2 through 3, AMPC version. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and engrave it so plainly upon tablets that everyone who passes may be able to read it easily and quickly as he hastens by. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, and it hastens to the end fulfillment. It will not deceive or disappoint. Though it tarry, wait earnestly for it, because though it tarry, wait earnestly for it, because it will surely come. It will not be behindhand on his appointed day. It also says Hebrews, see Hebrews chapter 10, verse 37 through 38. Let's see what it says. For still a little while, a very little while, the coming one will come, and he will not delay. But the just shall live by faith. My righteous servant shall live by his conviction, respecting man's relationship to God and divine things. And wholly forever born of faith, and conjoined with it. And if you draw back, shrink in fear, my soul has no delight or pleasure in him. It also says, see Habakkuk 2, 3 through 4. For the vision is yet for appointed time, and it hastens in fulfillment. That's what it means. It hastens to the end. It means fulfillment. It will not deceive or disappoint. Though it tarry, wait. Earnestly wait for it in sincerity, because it will surely come. It will not be behind it or delayed on its appointed day. Look at the proud. His soul is not straight or right within him, but the rigidity, just and uncompromising righteous man should live by faith and in his faithfulness. Is this the man that made the earth tremble? The proud man whose soul is not straight or right within him? That's rigid? Or let me say crooked. Isaiah 14:15-26. They that see you shall narrowly look up on you and consider you, saying, is this the man that made the earth tremble, to tremble? That did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness, destroyed the cities thereof, opened not his house, the house of his prisoners. That's both physically and spiritually. Here's an article by Cindy Wooden, April 3rd, 2020 at 10:28 p.m. Did their Pope Francis really drop the Vicar of Christ title? From the moment he was introduced to the world after his election, their Pope Francis has emphasized his identity as the Bishop of Rome. The 2020 Annual Pontificio, the official Vatican yearbook, has made the same emphasis topographically by listing other descriptions of the papal office as historic titles. Like the 2019 edition, there is a page that says simply Francis, Bishop of Rome. He took up the title of the Pontificio. But unlike last year's edition, 2019 at the time, the new yearbook does not precede the biography of Jorge Mario Borgelio with the titles Vicar of Jesus Christ, Successor of the Prince of the Apostles, Supreme Pontiff of the Universal Church, Primate of Italy, Archbishop and Metropolitan of the Province of Rome. See, these are crowns that they had to take off and get back to the true church, to the true apostles, to the true Melchizedek priesthood. So he had many crowns on his head. That's why the scriptures say that, my Messiah. He took the crowns back. Not false crowns, but the true crowns of the true church of God. It had to be an Israelite church with Negroes who are Israelites. And nobody can take them from him. He had to willingly give them up. Just like the other one willingly gave him up in 2006. That's why the innocent one has sovereignty in all the jurisdictions, international jurisdictions of the sea. Remove Archbishop and Metropolitan of the Province of Rome, Sovereign of Vatican City, State, that great city. servant of servants of God. Remove all those. Matteo Bruni, director of the Vatican Press Office, told Catholic News Service that unlike the 2006 when their other pope, the one who like Count Dracula, Benedict the 16th, had the title Patriarch of the West removed from the list. See, they throwing their crowns off their head and giving them back to us. I mean, we got jurisdiction over them, but we're not pagan gods. We have jurisdiction and power over all the works of the enemy by his own confession and by his demonstration of removing the titles. Thus brings to pass this prophecy. Luke 10 and 19. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy. And nothing shall by any means hurt you. AMP version reads, Amplified. Listen carefully. I've given you authority that you now possess to tread on serpents and scorpions, and the ability to exercise authority over all the power of the enemy, Satan. Nothing will in any way harm you. Can you see it? Do you have eyes to see? Or do you have ears to hear? You live in a time of the vision being made plain. It's not tarrying. It's manifesting right before your face. It has manifested. Matteo Bruni, director of the Vatican Press Office, told Catholic News Service that unlike in 2006 when their Pope Benedict the 16th had the title Patriarch of the West removed from the list, this time there has been no suppression of a title. These are the last two false prophets. Now, I was saying, like the Steel Portion said, the true prophets, the last two prophets. Of course, the false prophets, all of everything they're over, all the church in the world. But these are the last two false prophets. If you want to see the image of them in a man. And they both removed their titles, their crowns. The definition of a historic in relation to the titles attributed to the Pope, their Pope, on one of the pages dedicated to him in the Annuario Pontificio of 2020 seems to me to indicate the bond with the history of the papacy, Bruni said. All the other titles are understood to be tied historically to the title of the Bishop of Rome because at that moment, he designated by the conclave to guide the Church of Rome. The one elected acquires the title tied to this nomination. Pope Francis' first words to the public after his election on March 13, 2013, their Pope Francis, were, brothers and sisters, good evening. You all know that the duty of the conclave was to give a bishop to Rome. Well, your bishop, you ain't got a bishop in Rome no more. You ain't got no power. Right now, it's all smoking mirrors and smoke screens. Ain't no power in Rome. And that was the power over the world. And that was the same power that claimed dumb diversities through that office. In Doctrine and Discovery, therefore, it's over. That's how you know the kingdom is here for the kingdom of the Most High. The lie has been revealed, and that's the only thing they had left. That's why the Most High said, I'm going to destroy them by his coming. He said, by his word and the brightness of his coming. They destroyed all the lies, therefore there's no power there. It seems that my brother Cardinals have gone almost to the ends of the earth to get him. Here, he said, here we are. And what happened, allegedly? He's no longer on the earth, allegedly. Neither are all the Cardinals, allegedly. They just have those possessed by the spirit of Antichrist left on the earth. They're still trying to fight the battle, doing evil things. The spirit of the devil. Look at some terms. Oppressed is adjective. Weight or pressed down, physically or mentally. That's what gang stalking is. That's their minions. They're doing their job. But they're going to see their wages too. There's death. For the wages of sin is death. Late 14th century past particle detect adjective from oppress. Oppress is a verb. Late 14th century oppression. To press unduly upon an agent or salaki, to press unduly or against, overburden, weigh down. Also figuratively overwhelm, overpower, of sickness, grief, etc. Also burdened with cruel, unjust, or unreasonable restraints. Treat with injustice or undue severity. Keep down by unjust exercise of power. So they ain't got no power, so what they're doing now is deceiving. That's Japheth, the enemy of God, with Esau. From Old French, oppressor, oppress, afflict, torment, smother. 13th century, from medieval Latin oppressier, figurative of Latin premier, press against, press together, press down, figuratively crush, put down, subdue, persecute, relentlessly. And late Latin to rape. From assimilated, from ob, against. To press, hold fast, cover, crowd, compress. Related to oppressed. It is due external restraint, and not the moderation of rulers that constitutes a state of liberty as the power to oppress. I'm gonna come back there. Let me go here first. Back to their confession. My necessity. The end of 40 years of European meddling and predation in America. The Constitution for the United States of America was saved. and a new foundation begun. The American Israelites are now free to come home to the land that they were removed from. No longer POWs. That's why he took all the crowns off his head in 2020. Because the foot in the gospel was brought to the true prophets for us to bring forth this fullness of the gospel in 2019. So 2020, he revealed that it's over by necessity, the Roman Catholic Pope. They've regained their sovereignty as free, sovereign, and independent people living on the land. The United States of America, that's called, he said we called in the latter days the United States of America, was the Garden of Eden. Seal portion, chapter 81, verse 41. And the free, sovereign, and independent people living on the land of their organic states have regained. What do it mean if you regained it? That means at one time, through dumb diverses, they took it, stole it. Have regained their sovereignty in the international jurisdiction of the sea. That's all over the world. That's why the sea has been converted to us. Their wealth that they stole from us in the first place. For the first time since 1789, American Israelites, it says Americans, that's who we are in full control of both their natural land and sea jurisdictions. That's all over the world. We are finally whole. Do not follow any orders to harm Americans, the Israelites. Those who do will be tried for war crime and face the death penalty just like the Nazis in Nuremberg. Back to Etymology Online Dictionary for oppression. Once again, it noted as the powers to oppress, though never exercised, there's a state of slavery. St. George Tucker view of the Constitution of the United States. That's the one they created for them. That's the one they created to oppress us in 1803. But they told us also by necessity that same Constitution of also benefits us too. Because when they took off their titles, that means they converted back to us. Oppressors are now one who exercises undue severity in the use of power or authority. Now do you not see how the Most High said, I'm going to do to you what you did to them? So everything you did to us is coming back to you. And that's why you're scared. Don't be scared, be a man or woman. You did it too. You did, remember? You did it to us. Don't take it like a man and a woman. You ain't getting out of it. Because the Most High already decreed it. His word in return for it. If I was you, I'd stop mocking. I get to try to see how you can serve this great people called Israel, the Negroes that you called us, and worse. The Most High said our most honorable origin is Israelites, called by his name. But I'm glad I'm not you. One who exercises undue severity in the use of power or authority. a crusher, a destroyer, a criminal, a rapist. That's you, Edomites. Let's see what the Most High says he did, even you to destroy him. He did all these great things. He calls you to be a destroyer. You're still under his control. He just did that so he can kill you. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 54. Because I don't just say things, I prove it because I read it to you. Isaiah chapter 54, 1 through 17, AMP version. Shout for joy, O barren one, she who has not given birth. Break forth in a joyful shouting, and rejoice. She who has not gone into labor with child. That's why I told you. Write the vision and make it plain. This is before she went to the birth. But Yahweh is the spirit of prophecy, but he told you what's going to happen. And it's his own due time, at the appointed time. For the spiritual sons of the desolate one will be more numerous than the sons of the married woman, says Yahweh. Enlarge the side of your tent to make room for more children. Stretch out the curtains of your dwellings. Do not spare them. Lengthen your tent ropes and make your peg stakes firm in the ground. For you will spread out to the right and to the left. And your descendants will take possession of nations and will inhabit deserted cities. Do not fear, for you will not be put to shame. Do not feel humiliated or ashamed, for you will not be disgraced. For you will forget the shame of your youth. You will no longer remember the disgrace of your widowhood. For your husband is your maker. Yahweh of hosts is his name. And your Redeemer is the Holy One of Israel, who is called the God of the whole earth. For Yahweh has called you like a wife who has been abandoned and grieved in spirit, like a wife married in her youth when she is later rejected and scorned, says your God. For a brief moment I abandoned you, but with great compassion and mercy I will gather you to myself again. That's what we at right now. In an outburst of wrath I hid my face from you for a moment, but with an everlasting kindness I will have compassion on you, says Yahweh, your kinsman redeemer. For this is like the waters of Noah to me, as I swore an oath that the waters of Noah would not flood the earth again. In the same way, I have sworn that I will not be angry with you, nor will I rebuke you. For the mountains may be removed and the hills may shake, but my loving kindness will not be removed from you, nor will my covenant of peace be shaken, says Yahweh. That's why he had me to speak peacefully to you. Doing this thing that's coming on the earth, it's not going to shake his covenant as a promise to us. Says Yahweh, who has compassion on you. Oh, you oppressed city. Oh, you afflicted city. Storm tossed and not comforted. Listen carefully. I will set your precious stones in mortar and lay your foundations with sapphire. And I will make your battlements of rubies and your gates of shining beryl stones. And all your burial walls of precious stones. And all your spiritual sons will be disciples of Yahweh. And great will be the well-being of your sons. You will be firmly established in righteousness. you'll be far from even the thought of oppression. For you will not fear. And from terror, for it will not come near you. If anyone fiercely attacks you, it will not be from me. Whoever attacks you will fall because of you. Fall is a verb. To drop from a height. Most High said, Edom, I'm going to bring you down from there. Fail, decay, die. Whoever attacks you will die because of you. Listen carefully. I've created the smith who blows on the fire of the coals and who produces a weapon for its purpose. And I've created the destroyer. What did he say? He created the destroyer? Yeah. And he was destroying while he was angry with us. When he turned his eyes away from it for a moment. But after all, we are the apple of his eye. He's looking at us again. And he promised not to be angry with us no more. And since he created you to destroy, guess what he's going to do? He's going to destroy you now. I read it to you yesterday. I've created a destroyer to inflict ruin. No weapon that is formed against you will succeed. Why? Because I created the destroyer. That's why they had to confess when it was their time was up. And then they had to also say, if you touch these anointed of the Most High, these American Israelites, then he going to turn from destroying the Israelites to destroying his own. And the wicked of the Israelites. They don't want to listen to the Father. Who don't want to listen to his prophets. Give you the words of the Father. No weapon that is formed against you will succeed. And every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you will condemn. This peace, righteousness, security, and triumph over the opposition is the heritage of the servants of Yahweh, the messengers, the angels. And this is their vindication from me, says Yahweh. That's why he gave me all power and the priesthood power, the Melchizedek priesthood power over the oppressor, over the powers that you say they be, that was former. No, we the powers now. We are the power and the glory. And ours is forever. And that's amen. I'll say la. Oppressors are now one who exercises undue severity in the use of power or authority. French oppressor, from Latin oppressor, to crush, a destroyer. It's a crusher, a destroyer. It's read to you, the Messiah said, I created the destroyer. He can't do nothing I don't allow him to do. And now his time is over for oppressing my people. But if they do it, they gonna die. I just read it to you. And I read it to you yesterday. See, oppressed. In Middle English, also a criminal, a rapist. They're the criminals and they're the rapists, but they try to lie on us. They rape the whole nation. That's why he said the Most High, he gonna release all our people out of jail, regardless of what they did. Ain't that something? He also said somebody's gonna come and oppress you. And you done oppressed a lot of our people in jail. He's gonna release all of them. I know y'all scared. Oppress is a verb. Now, why did I say it like that? Because I heard the voice of an evil oppressor that didn't like what I said. So I made it more clearer. I made the vision more plainer for that evil oppressor that's rebelling. And guess what? The Most High, I'm going to make sure they're going to come see you. Because you should be quiet while this word is going for. But you being proud again. Boasting of your insuperiority. That's what the Most High going to make sure they're going to visit you. Oppress is a verb. Late 14th century, oppressing, to press unduly upon or against. Overburden. All they're going to do is say, well, we're going to make sure we don't make sure you get your money and stuff like that. Well, that's on you. You're going to die for that. Not by me. Most I promise you. It's going to be by my word, though. The word I'm speaking right now from his word. He said, when I bring forth his judgments, judgment comes. All I got to do is speak the word. And I ain't your baby. That's that evil devil out there. I don't look like nothing like the little evil bastard you got. So you got me twisted. No, I just talk to the devil like he talks. He don't like it when you talk back to him like that, though. Only thing he be lying. I be telling the truth, though. That's even more salt in the wound because I'm telling the truth. Oppress is a verb. Late 14th century, oppressing, to press unduly upon or against, overburden, way down. Also figuratively, overwhelm, overpower, of sickness, grief, etc. Also burdened with cruel, unjust, or an unreasonable restraints. Treat with injustice or undue severity. Keep down by an unjust exercise of power. And you ain't got no power. I just read it to you. All you can do is eat evil things, but eventually you got to give me what's mine anyway. So I don't have to bow down and kiss your behind. When the Most High told me to prophesy against you, it's one of two things gonna happen. You gonna give me what is mine, or he gonna kill you. And if he don't kill you, then he's probably going. He's going to make you be my slave in the kingdom. This here already. So instead of being arrogant about it, you might as well go and prepare for slavery because you already being disrespectful. And you know what I'm gonna do to you? I ain't got no love for you, especially when you tried to kill me over and over again. So it's to your best advantage to go ahead and make sure I get what's mine by right and stay out my way. Because you know how I'm going to treat you. I ain't got no love for you. Keep down by unjust exercise of power. Moral French, oppressor, oppress, afflict, torment, smother. To rape. Colonization is a noun. Act or a process of colonizing. State of being a colony. Noun of action from colonize. In U.S. history, the movement for assisted immigration of free blacks to Africa. They don't say from Africa to here. And we're not blacks either, but that's how they called us. For assisted immigration of free blacks to Africa for the formation of colonies there. That's how they got that land called Judah or Yehuda. The American Colonization Society, organized in December 1816. Hence, colonists, one who favors colonization of emancipated slaves and free blacks to some other place. 1831. Why do they keep on mentioning Israelites? That's why when I say Israelites, I'm not trying to include them. I just say what they say, they confess to. And I say what the Most High say, and if you don't fit in, that's on you. I'm not like these other people preaching, trying to include people that don't belong there. You wasn't colonized. You didn't go through what we went through as a people. So why am I trying to include you? Most High is not. That's why he sent me. To speak plain. The Negroes were treated like that. I just read it to you. The Most High said, no, come to the most honorable origin. Israelite. And on this land, we're the Americans, the true Americans. And I don't look nothing like your little bastard child. And I don't look nothing like your dog. That's you. So when you talking about come on, I don't know. I only see the bastard just out there doing that. I just hear the spirit. I'm just making the spirit out of a lie because the spirit is lying. I'm going to etymology online dictionary. American. So now, 1570, originally one of the Aboriginal peoples. Same with like Adam, Aboriginal. The book remembers our ancient grandmothers, chapter 1 and 99. One of the Aboriginal peoples discovered in the Western Hemisphere by Europeans, the colonizers. From modern Latin Americanus, from America, the original sense is now Native Americans. The sense of resident of North America, of European or originally British descent. They told you who it is. They told you by necessity, if you claim to be a United States citizen, you claim to be one of them. You claim to be a citizen of Britain and Rome. They said that was put on you. You never needed to be that. All you have to do is say you're an American. That's who you are. Because you're the Israelite. American is an adjective. 1590s pertains to the Western Hemisphere and its Aboriginal inhabitants. See? American. 1590s pertaining to the Western Hemisphere and its Aboriginal inhabitants. That's who American is. The Israelites. If anybody out there want to know the truth, we are the Jews. We are the Jews. We are the Jews. Israelites. Israelites. American Israelites. And Americanus, the one they said didn't discover this, it was already called America before he was even thought of. It said also the sense of pertaining to the resident of North America, of European, originally British descent. See, they're the residents. It's recorded by 1640s. Later pertaining to the United States. See, they're the United States citizens. They can be removed. We can't be moved. This is our land. That's why they never sent us back to Africa. We never came from there. They just colonized us and made us POWs. That's why they confess by necessity that we no longer POWs. But now back, return to be sovereigns again by necessity. I read it to you. It said French, American, Spanish, and Italian Americano, German Amerikanisch, feminine form Americanus, attested from 1838. America, 1507, the Western Hemisphere, North and South America. And cartographer Martin Wells Simlier treatise. Cosmography Introductio. Now, if you out there and you are a true American, well, don't interfere with what I'm teaching, because I'm gonna say something that might disrespect the wrong people. All I'm hearing is spirits, though. I don't see the people. I'm just casting them down with the word, with truth. That's what I'm doing. From Latin Americanus, traditionally at the Amerigo Vespucci, 1514, 54 to 1512. Now, we've been here way before 1514, 54, and 1512. So how is it Amerigo Vespucci named America? That's a lie. Our ancestor came over here in 600 BC from Jerusalem. That's why they make themselves naked, because the Most High gave us the knowledge. And when he gave us his knowledge, that their lies make themselves naked. Traditionally, at the Amerigo Vespucci, and a lot of our people don't have the knowledge, they just run what they say. Traditionally, at the Amerigo Vespucci in 1454, that's when he was born. That's when he came. They say he came and named America. Through 1512, who made 2 trips to the New World as a navigator and claimed to have discovered it. His published work put forward the idea that there was a new continent. He was first to call it Novus Mundus, New World. Amerigo is more easily Latinized than Vespucci. Latin Vesputus, which might have yielded place name Vespucia. The census English naturally was restricted towards the British colonies, then the United States. See, they're the same. Noted it said, it is a thousand pities that the puny witticisms of a few professional objectors should have the power to prevent, even for a year, the adoption of a name for our country. At present, we have clearly none. That's a lie. That's what they say. It was already called America. He said there should be no hesitation about Appalachia. In the first place, it is distinctive. America is not. Can never be made so. We may legislate as much as we please. Assume for our country whatever name we think right. How somebody gonna come over and say these things? They found the people already here and the country already here, but then they gonna say what they think it should be called. But to use it will be no name for any purpose for which a name is needed, unless we can take it away from the regions which employ it at present. South America is America. We will insist upon remaining so. Edgar Allan Poe. Mariganella in Grimm's magazine, Philadelphia, December 1846. How you gonna come over and say what's what? You can't. You did, but now everything returned to what? Fredonia, Fredonian, Friedi, Friedish, etc., etc. And then these extraordinary words, which have been delivered, ridiculed here as well as in England, were proposed some time ago in contest by 2 or 3 individuals as names for the territory and people of the United States. The general term American is now commonly understood, at least in all places where the English language is spoken, to mean an inhabitant of the United States. And is so employed except where unusual precisions of language is required. John Pickering, a vocabulary and collection of words and phrases which have been supposed to be peculiar to the United States of America. Boston, 1816. There's no need to stump on my roof. I know exactly what I'm reading. You need to understand. Apparently you don't. Because every day you come stumbling on my roof like something new been discovered. And that's a violation of my rights right there. I ain't stumbling on your roof. But apparently you're retarded. Because you keep doing the same thing every day. And you can't claim God is with you because you're breaking the commandments every day. The man's name, Amerigo, is Germanic, said to derive from the Gothic Amarich, literally work ruler, colonizer. The Old English form of the name has come down in surnames, Emmerich, Emery, etc. The Italian feminine form merged into Amelia. The colloquial pronunciation Americae is by at least 1643 in poetry, Then in one later collection, Rhythm America with away, pray, obey, gay, dismay, decay, etc. The unstressed syllable and the short vowel make problems at the end of a matrilineal line, modern popular U.S. national songs. Modern popular U.S. national. Remember the Most High told you in the book you remembers? I'm going to read to you. The lie has been that they can make a better world, a better life for you being a national. Putting you back under the jurisdiction of, or under the slavery of the Zionists. The definition just told you. Another confession. Modern popular U.S. national songs and hymns tend to keep the word America away from line ends. Africa got the same treatment. Africa. See how they tell you they colonized America and Africa? And sometimes Britannia, America continues to be so rhythmed through mid-19th century in popular patriotic songs. See? Being a patriot, the same thing they told you in the book, in the sealed portion, is part of their colonization. How I know that? I just read it to you. The same pronunciation spelled out became popular from 1830s as representing an Irish way of speaking the name. America's U.S. society as racist. Why do they have to say U.S.? See, they hide under America and they do their dirt in the U.S. through deception. That's why I say come out of the U.S. and be an American. And they still got to give you everything out of the U.S. that belongs to you. But they can't penalize you for it. Because U.S. don't exist except on paper. That's Papa wrong. U.S. society viewed as racist, fascist, oppressive, etc. Is attested from 1969. Spelling is German, but it also might suggest the KKK. With occasional rhymes on me, it be as though America. And Waller in 1664 seems to want to rhyme with the saw of a war with Spain and the fight at sea. With occasional rhythms on me, be as though America. Now, African American. Let's go. Remember, I'm going to go read what the Oxford said about African Americans. Then I'll go back to the etymology. Source, Oxford English Dictionary. Nigger is a noun and an adjective. A dark-skinned person of any origin. In early United States use usually with reference to American Indians. See? Nigger and American Indians are synonymous. usually offensive. So you take away American Indians, you have American Israelites, the proper name, the one the Most High calls you. What is the definition of an African American? A person who is no longer living and supporting. That don't mean you died. That doesn't mean you died on paper. And you believe in what the lies they tell you, so you're not living according to the Most High the way He told you to live. A person who is no longer living and supporting his life, his or her life, blood, purpose with earth. There are people to use and exploit their life force in the society. People who are refugees or exiled, POWs. From their home soil. That's why they confess no longer POWs. Now you can return home as sovereigns. Live out your life, blood, purpose with earth. People living disconnected from serving their life purpose, in parentheses, parasites. They actually got this in the dictionary. Old dictionary. A person who lives in artificial forms, whatever they want to call it, of life expression, fulfilling the joy of living. A person who lives in captivity without life purpose as freedom. So freedom should be your life purpose. But now we're free. But the rest are blinded, so you still living as African American. They call you parasites. A person who lives in captivity without life purpose as freedom, instead of self-determination towards the natural expression of the earth, life, blood, purpose as being free. And the Most High told you, you can't be one of His prophets without being free. For this time. I know that I read to you yesterday. Back to Etymology Online Dictionary for African Americans, the adjective. There are isolated instances from late 18th to early 19th centuries, but the modern use is a reinvention first attested in 1969 in reference to the African American Teacher Association, which became the preferred term of some circles for U.S. Black. Now I got to go back here again. I didn't intend on coming this way. At least not this over again, but this is where the Spirit went. See, now do you see why I only say Negroes being the Israelites? Because that's what the information is pointing towards. Even what they told us about the quote unquote Negroes being the ministry. So I'm gonna keep it what it is. The children of Israel are Negroes. Who the Most High calls us by our anointed name, Israelites. Are you on their side or on our side? Nay. I'm on Yahweh's side. The truth. Bear with me for a minute, several minutes. Black people, you've been conned. Confession by the Roman Catholic Post-Prod attorney Anna Von Ritz. Well, we've all been conned, but you've been conned more than the rest of us. From everything I've seen, Martin Luther King Jr. took half a loaf, a grant of civil rights, and that at least temporarily prevented recognition of the natural and inalienable rights actually owed to Black people. Maybe he thought that half a loaf was better than none. Maybe he saw it as a stepping stone to eventually have the natural and inalienable rights of all people fully recognized and honored. We'll never know what MLK knew or what he thought about this issue, but certain other things are sure. It's certain that the Democratic Party let me read this to you before I get to that part. This is still portion chapter 71, verse 37 through 38. And I've seen your works, and know that your works are even more deceitful and wicked than the works of the secret combinations of old, which deceive the people for great personal gain and power. And you have your Republicans and your Democrats, your presidents, vice presidents, and senators and congressmen, and all those who support the principles of Satan, which are the principles of the rich ruling over the poor and taking advantage of another because of the blessings of wisdom and power that they have received from your God, who is Satan. Back to Black people, you've been duped. From everything I've seen, Martin Luther King Jr. took half a loaf. See, the only problem with Dr. Martin Luther King was it's reported you can't free up people if you in cahoots with Satan. You got to come from the right-hand side to work for the right-hand side. Martin Luther King Jr. was a Freemason. From everything I've seen, Martin Luther King Jr. took half a loaf, a grant of civil rights, and that at least temporarily prevented recognition of the natural and inalienable rights actually owed to Black people. And Black people don't exist. Not even on paper. Maybe he thought that half a loaf was better than none. Maybe he saw it as a stepping stone to eventually have the natural and inalienable rights of all people fully recognized and honored. We'll never know what MLK knew, what he thought about this issue, but certain other things are sure. It's certain that the Democratic Party that so many Black and colored people see right there. True Black people are associated with Africa. colored people were considered Americans, copper colored. It's certain that the Democratic Party, I just read to both of them is still the same coin, just different on two different sides, of two heads of the same coin. It's certain that the Democratic Party, there's so many black and colored people identify with. Support has, in fact, been their primary political opponent for decades. Look at the history, look at the voting records. It was Democrats that engineered conferring municipal citizenship on black people following the Civil War. That's why I say I always mention over 150 years ago. They note. That's what the sealed portion, chapter 79 is all about. I got another teaching on that coming from the Book of Mormon assisting that. I'll be bringing it to you, Most High Citizen. It was the Democrats that engineered, who is that? The deep state. The Assyrians, the Europeans of today. It was the Democrats that engineered conferring municipal citizenship on black people following the Civil War, effectively making them publicly owned slaves instead of privately owned slaves. It was Democrats who substituted civil rights for natural and unalienable rights too. Civil rights are merely privileges conferred by the municipal Congress. The same municipal Congress who already told you they already know that the children of Israel was coming back to America to rule and reign. The Messiah going to come in himself personally. And it can be taken away from the municipal Congress on a whim. But your natural and unalienable rights come from nature, and nature's God. She talking to black people and colored people, who the Most High calls his Israelite people. They come from Jacob, the progenitor. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But your natural and inalienable rights come from nature, and nature's God. Think about it. You've been a snooker. And you don't need municipal citizenship. You don't need to be called a United States citizen. Why? You're an American. You belong here. And you don't need municipal citizenship. It was conferred on you, but you never needed it. And if you knew what it entitled, you would never want it either. You can choose to exercise your birthright political status as Americans, Israelites, instead. You can be truly free and have your natural and unalienable rights respected and protected. You can claim your own assets for your own benefit, like every other American, and we all Israelites. You simply need to know that you have that choice, and then you need to make it. This probate ain't got nothing to do with what they do in secret societies. Two different populations. What is that? Satan's dominion and Yahweh's dominion. That has dominion over Satan's dominion. Folks, there are and have always been two different populations here in America. Actual current federal employees, retirees don't count as active federal employees. And federal dependents, political asylum seekers, etc., who receive actual paychecks or unearned benefits from the federal corporation are owed discharge of all franchise debts via bankruptcy. The rest of us Americans, Israelites, owe discharge of the same franchise debt via probate action. Why? The Most High got up with all power, which activated the new covenant, the promises. He died that the promises could be fulfilled and come to power. The difference is that the probate action not only discharges debts accrued by secondary beneficiaries of our estates, the franchise operated in our names, it returns our land and our other property back to us unharmed and fully restored. If you really are a federal employee, see, like again, why are you holding my money? Give it to me. Why are you so money hungry, man? I ain't money hungry. It's mine. Give it to me. So I'm gonna buy what I want to buy. It's mine. And don't be following me around saying, "Man, look what he buying." They ain't none of your business. Give the people of God theirs when they ask for it. It's theirs. The difference is that the probate action not only discharges debts accrued by secondary beneficiaries of our states, the franchises operated in our names, it returns our land and other property back to us unharmed and fully restored. Made whole. You've been made whole. If you really are a federal employee or an unearned dependent, for example, someone receiving SSI who never paid into it, invested in Social Security, by all means, take the bankruptcy and run. See, when the truth come out, other truth to support it got to be read again. So that's what I'm doing again. Yeah, it's right here. Let me find it. Retirees. This is from Final Judgment Civil Orders, April 11th, 2014, from that Office of Pope. Retirees, the United States of America minor, that's the corporations, will no doubt attempt to claim Americans, retirees, owed Social Security, insurance covers, are welfare recipients, receiving benefits, as I see above. Individual retirees need to object to this interpretation of their status. See, through probate, all this has been restored. They can't lie like that. and give notice to the Social Security Administration that it is their understanding that Social Security is notice to the Social Security Administration that it is their understanding that Social Security is and was a retirement insurance program. It so happened I was under LaSera. Same thing applies. That they paid into and were vested in. I did that when I worked. And not any way welfare or benefit of any public charitable trust. This is just more self-interest deceit. American workers paid for every drop of their retirement insurance coverage. And their grandfather then once vested. They don't make you one of their members. That's what's yours by right. This was mine by right. That's why they got to give me some extra because they owe me from last time. That's these devils though doing that. They have no right to stand up, no leg to stand up. They got to give it to me. This is just more self-interested deceit. American Israelite workers paid for every drop of their retirement insurance coverage, and our grandfather in once vested, just as with any other private insurance program. Receipt of Social Security payment does not provide any claim against your status as an American Israelite. If Social Security Administration goes bankrupt, the United States of America minor will be charged as secondary, and so on up the food chain all the way to the Treasury. It's money there for us. Back to your two different populations. The difference is that the probate action not only discharges debts accrued by secondary beneficiaries of our states, the franchise operated in our names, it returns our land and our other property back to us unharmed and fully restored. If you really are a federal employee or an unearned dependent, for example, see, this is the truth. The truth should be my shield and buckler, yours too. Therefore, they got to give it up and can't be in the way. When they messing with your mail and things like that, that's federal crimes. They're going to jail. And you say, well, no, they're the ones over everything. No, there's somebody looking over them. And they watching everything they do. They going to jail. Just because they're going to take you to jail right then, that don't mean they ain't going. Most High justice is coming. If you really are a federal employee or an unearned dependent, for example, someone receiving SSI, who never paid into or invested into Social Security, by all means, take the bankruptcy protection and run. I just read a little bit from this federal fiat dollar, US dollar versus new treasury, US dollar. It says USA Treasury will be sending out new U.S. Treasury currency. If you do not believe this, you can thus can happen research what John F. Kennedy did in 1963. The new U.S. Treasury bill will have, for example, a true value, let's say, well, another document I read before said in my hand, on the American Israelite hand, is automatically transferred into go by gold and silver dollar in your hand when you turn it in and buy something with it. It's not in your hand, it's not fraud. In my hand. The difference is that the probate action not only discharges debts accrued by secondary beneficiaries of our estates, the franchise is operating our names. It returns our land and other property back to us unharmed and fully restored. If you really are a federal employee on unearned dependent, for example, and then somebody say, well, you gotta adhere to the laws of the land, to those powers that be. Well, they tell you this was the powers that be, and telling you what to do and what already been happened. The kingdom is ours. Most High said, now we are the power and the glory. And our kingdom will never end. But you're not a federal employee on an unearned dependent. Claim your estate back. All you got to do is just let everybody know you're an American Israelite. American. If you don't want to say Israelite. Being a quote unquote Negro. But you really are an Israelite. The debts will all go away just the same. But you also receive back the land, homes, and businesses and other things that are rightfully yours. It's that simple. Back to Edmund Online Dictionary for African American, which is adjective. There are isolated instances from the late 18th and early 19th centuries, but the modern use is a reinvention first attested in 1969 in reference to the African American Teachers Association, which became the preferred term in some circles for U.S. black. See, you only call black in the U.S. in their corporation. So they can dupe you. Now, adjective by the late 1980s, see African plus American. Meekin, 1921, report Afro-American is now very commonly used as the Negro in the Negro press. Afro-American is attested in 1853 in Freeman Publications in Canada. Africo-American, 1817 as a noun. 1826 as an adjective. Was common in abolitionist and colonization society writings. They tell you who made that up for you. That's part of their colonization. Hebrews 10:37 through 38. AMPC. For still a little while, a very little while, and the coming one will come, and he will not delay. But the just shall live by faith. My righteous servant shall live by his conviction, respecting man's relationship to God and divine things. And holy fervor, born of faith and conjoined with it. And if you draw back and shrink in fear, my soul has no delight or pleasure in him. Now I'm going to go to the book of remembrance, the first and second book of Aki. Waves of oppression. Begin at First Aki 6:58. And it came to pass that Aki beheld that there had been in the eyes of God 4 great wars to be fought. This is the wars in heaven, right? Now you know who the wars is against. Esau versus Jacob. Terms that they made modern were white versus black. The first great war was called the war in heaven, fought among the watchers over the created purpose of the earth. Now, what did they say? They made you be called black, colored, African American, Negro, Indian, all these things, saying that you living not in your lifeblood purpose of earth. They did it through deceiving you by using paperwork in the U.S. Mandates. I'm making it plain for you. The first great war was called the war in heaven, fought against the watchers over the created purpose of earth. And the second great war was against the vision of Israel. See? To be confederate against you, to make you not to be no longer in the earth, named among God's people. And that's how they took away your sovereignty on paper. And the second great war was against the vision of Israel, to see who would prevail as to whether Messiah through Israel would be a blessing unto all the nations and a blessing into the hearts of all mankind. And the third great war was against the truth. Started with a false prophet. We found out who that is. False religion through all the churches. By the false prophet who was over all the churches. The man of sin. Who is Esau Edom, but in office form called their Pope. It extended clear through the doings of the Machazeria in the ends of days, in which darkness fights against light. And the father of all lies, Satan, the European man, Esau, against the truth. Esau and Japheth. The book of Jasher, chapter 90, verse 1 through 11, the Romans. And the fourth great war is called Armageddon. It is fought in heaven after the kingdom of Messiah is fulfilled. See? This war comes 1,000 years after the 1,000-year reign. We are in the kingdom when this war starts. And it's considered a war to gain the grace of forgiveness by the wicked. But to the righteous, it is a war to eliminate evil. And all those who love and support it, and all the Dekadachai, that's the devils, that's the Europeans, and the ones who support them, even out of Jacob. To see that they are cast off into darkness, to a place where God is not. That's why I said Judas went to his own place. God wasn't there. The son of perdition. And all these people are the sons of the perdition. Thus by this we can plainly see that the forces of evil were heavily brought to bear against the vision of Israel. That's why he told me to make the vision plain for Israel today. As it is the only one of the four great wars that is against a people and their purpose. And the others are against principalities and powers. It is for this reason that the heart of God is filled with compassion for his people. He continues to move in their behalf, notwithstanding their many errors. That's why he told me to go read to the sealed portion, chapter 35, verse 128, so you won't err. I'm the God of Israel and none else. Now it came to pass that Shinab lived in the remote border of the land of the region of Gilead, during these waves of oppression that came against Israel, that affected them to strive to be a holy nation unto Yahweh. That's that set apart, separate world, separate nation, separate people unto Yahweh. And the conditions were not as yet suitable for Messiah to be born among men, for during the first period of idolmongers, he would have found no support nor conditions under which he could fulfill his vision as Messiah for his father. And during the second period of sorcery, his vision could not be fulfilled, for he would not come to contend with a warring nation. He came not to fight against those who worked in darkness, but he would come to those who were in the midst of decision. Among those, so he said he cannot bring peace to Adumia. But he came for as many as believed in him that's in the midst, in the balance. In the midst of decision. And among those whose conflict leads to exercising of their agency towards or away from salvation. See, then the midst of decision. He came so you can choose him or not choose him. And in this Messiah could fulfill all the vision of the Father for him. Thus we come into the period of oppression, when the people were set about the task of choosing between their corrupt law, the color of law, their mandates, and tradition are the truth that Messiah brings. At the time, this is page first Aki 8 and 73 on down. At the time Messiah had finished and the thunder had sounded, Zabdi stood to make his decision, his declaration. To read from the sacred writings. For it was according to their custom that the high priest, who is inscribed first, should speak as the last one that entered into the covenant. That's why I said the first should be last and last should be first. The first high priest let me continue though. And he chose to read from the sacred writing of Isaiah, where it said, "Who has believed our report? And to whom is the arm of Yahweh revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, as a root out of a dry ground. He had no form nor comeliness, and we shall see him. There's no beauty that we should desire him. And he is despised and rejected of me, a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised. We esteemed him not. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken and smitten of God and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. With his stripes are we healed. All like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone his own way. And Yahweh has laid upon him, or Noki said, is laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed. So who oppressed him? The Edomites. Those Jewish people. It's not Jews. Those Israelis. He was oppressed and he was afflicted. He opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter. As a sheep before its shearers is dumb. So he opened not his mouth, and he was taken from prison and from judgment. Who should declare his generation? He was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken. And he made his grave with the wicked, with the rich in his death. Because he had no violence. Because he had done no violence. Neither was there any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased Yahweh to bruise him. He has put him to grief. When you should make his soul an offering for sin. What's his soul? His body and his spirit. He shall see his seed. He shall prolong his days. How you do that? Honor your father and your mother. And the pleasure of Yahweh shall prosper in his hand. He shall see the travail of his soul. He shall be satisfied. By his knowledge, my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Thereafter will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he has poured out his soul unto death. He was numbered with the transgressors, and he bore the sins of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. Spoils are now booty, goods captured in time of war. When was this booty captured? In the fourth war. About his deliverance for his people in the kingdom. That's why they said they got to give it all back to us by necessity. That which is forfeit to a conqueror. Also the act of ravaging, often in plural spoils, from spoil is an action word, or else from old French expoil, booty, spoil. Booty is a noun. Mid-15th century, bootin, plunder taken from an enemy in war. Booty. From a Germanic source of akin to Middle Low German Butte exchange. They had to give us everything back from the stock exchange, when they sold our names, likeness, and images, and everything else, and certificates they made for to hide the booty, and try to hide in the treasury. That's why the treasury is ours, part of the booty. It has been influenced, informed, and sensed towards profit gained, whether taken by force or not, by boot. Now, two, in a form by nouns ending in Y, the meaning female body considered, we ain't talking about that. 1920s African American vernacular, as with another male sexual term for woman. I wasn't looking for that though either. I just wanted to see what they say African American, see what they're saying about that. Gain. Been acquired, possession, resources, wealth. Gain, profit, advantage, work, business, booty. So through work, we work for it. So our retirement is ours. That's part of the booty. With no taxes taken out of it. Purchase, acquisition, gain, also something acquired or received, a possession, property, goods, and especially booty. Look at Isaiah chapter 14. That's not limited to that's what we work for. But the treasure is ours. We're trillionaires several times over. Not counting what the injuries they've done to us and done to me. Isaiah chapter 14, Northern Kingdom edition. The header reads, Israel will be gathered and enjoy the millennium rest. Lucifer was cast out of heaven for rebellion. Israel will triumph over Babylon, the world. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob. 2 Nephi 24, 1 through 32. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them. They shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, yea, from far unto the ends of the earth. They shall return to their lands of promise, lands of promise. The house of Israel shall possess them, and the land of Yahweh shall be for servants and handmaids. Slaves. And it shall take them captives who they were captives. And they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall give you rest from your sorrow and from your fear and from the hard bondage wherein you was made to serve. And it shall come to pass in that day that you should take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased and the golden city ceased? Yahweh has broken the staff of the wicked, the scepter of the rulers. I mean, you are the power. And the Roman Catholic Pope proved it to you when he removed his titles, his crown. Both of them. The one that removed the king of the south or the north in 2006, and the one that removed the rest of the crowns in 2019. And they did it by necessity. Yahweh has broken the staff of the wicked, the scepters of the rulers. That means leadership, their rulership. He broke it. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindered. That's why allegedly they all got taken to meet the tribunal of the Messiah. and they're no more. The whole earth is at rest, and it's quiet, and they break forth into singing. Yeah, the fir tree rejoiced at you, and also the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since you are laid down, no feller has come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for you to meet you at your coming. It stirred up the dead for you, even all the chief ones of the earth. It has raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. And they shall speak and say unto you, are you also become weak as we? Are you become like unto us? Your pomp is brought down to the grave. Noise of your vows is not heard. The worm is spread under you, and the worm cover you. How are you fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Art you cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into the heavens. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. God said, I'm going to throw you down. Talking about Esau, Edom. From there. And I will sit upon the mountain of the congregation in the sides of the north. That's what they said. But the Most High said, make the vision plain. It will not tarry when it's time for it to come forth. And prophecy was fulfilled in 2006 through 2019 when they removed those titles and crowns off their head by necessity. I read some of it to you today. They said, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Calling himself a higher. In the sealed book of Moses, of Mormon, chapter 3. But they got fired even in that book, which was prophecy about what happened now. And kicked out of power. Yet you shall be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see you shall narrowly look upon you, and shall consider you, and shall say, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, made the whole world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, and opened not the house of his prisoners? That's why I had to confess, no longer prisoners of war, no longer POWs. You're sovereign again. Talking to the children of Israel who are the American Israelites. All the kings of the nations, yeah, all of them lie in glory. Every one of them in his own house. But you are cast out of your grave like an abominable branch. And the remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, they go down to the stones of the pit, as carcasses trodden under feet. You should not be joined with them in burial, because you have destroyed your land and slain your people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers. What was their iniquities? They took the children of Israel into captivity, stole their gold, silver, their lands, and murdered them behind it. And the whole lies and the whole color law and everything they did because they hate black people. They hate people with copper colored skin. They hate dark skinned people. Can't get around it. It says it in the sealed portion. Chapter 79, that's what the Civil War is all about. And they noted that they treated us like cattle for 150 years ago. Post-mortem. Guilty. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, says Jehovah of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son of and nephew, says Jehovah. I will also make it a possession for the bittering and pools of water. And I'll sweep it from the bosom of destruction, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction. So like it says Jehovah of hosts. And Jehovah of hosts has sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass. And as I have purposed, so shall it stand. I will bring the Assyrian in my land and upon my mountains, tread him underfoot. I read it to you yesterday. That's what happened. That's what's going to happen. Then shall his yoke depart from off of them, and his burden depart from off their shoulders. Isaiah chapter 10, 24, 25, and 27, page 572 of the Book of Remembrance of Melchizedek. Therefore, thus says Jehovah God of hosts, O my people that dwelleth in Sion, be not afraid of the Syrian. In parentheses, the deep state. They said the Democrats. But it's still important to say the Democrats and Republicans in her. He shall smite you with a rod, and shall lift up his staff against you, after the manner of Egypt. For yet a little while, and the indignation shall cease. My anger in their destruction, and my anger in their destruction. It shall come to pass that in that day, that his burden shall be taken away off your shoulder, and his yoke from off your neck. And the yoke shall be destroyed because of the anointing, the covenant of Shabbat. How is their yoke being destroyed, or has been destroyed? Through the new covenant, the promises. Speaking to the wicked, the part that yoke being taken off was through probate by necessity. They said the as long as the testator lives, there can be no probate. But Yahweh died and then rose with all power, thus for enforcing the probate. Speaking to the wicked, Isaiah writes in chapter 65, verse 13 through 16. Therefore, thus says Yahweh God, and this is done through probate, because the treasury belongs to us. We're not in bankruptcy, they are. We got money, they don't. Therefore, thus says Yahweh God, and we got good credit, good faith credit. Behold, my servant shall eat, but you should be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but you should be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but you should be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but you shall cry for sorrow of heart. Shall howl for vexation of spirit. And shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen. For Yahweh God shall abandon you and call his servants by another name. That he who blesses himself in the earth should bless himself in the God of truth. So the only way you can be blessed is through Yahweh's truth. As she said, black people, you've been duped. All your blessings come to the God of truth, but they called you to worship a false God and be called by another name. Black, African American, Negro, colored, Indians, and all these things. They already told you they're going to call you bywords in the beginning. Only thing those bywords are going to point to who you really are, the children of Israel. And nobody else can claim those bywords but you. That reveals who you really are, the American Israelite. The sovereign. That he who blesses himself in the earth shall bless himself in the God of truth. You can't get blessed without going through this process. Going through this truth right here. You can't sneak up on the truth. You can't steal a truth. Can't steal a blessing. You gotta go through the God of truth. He that sweareth in the earth shall swear by the God of truth, because the former troubles are forgotten based on the truth, because they're hid from my eyes. Back to the precept, that I will bring the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread him underfoot. Then shall his yoke depart from off of them, and his burden depart from off their shoulders. This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth. It is the hand that is stretched out upon all the nations. For Yahweh of hosts has purposed, and who shall disannul? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? In the year of the king Ahaz died was this burden. Rejoice not you, whole Palestina, because the rod of him that smote you is broken. Out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice. His fruit shall be a fiery flying serpent. But once again, people out there got their dogs like, no, this is the true Palestinian. Not Edomites pretending to be Palestinian. the children of Israel. You had a person back there back in the day who said, took a quote, on their leaders. Israelis will have no peace because the true Israelites left here black and came back white. Go find that quote. Talking about skin color. And the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety. And I will kill your root with famine, and shall slay your remnant. Howl, O gate, cry, O city, you whole Palestine are dissolved. For there shall come from the north a smoke, and none shall be alone in his appointed times. A nuclear bomb coming in. What shall then answer the messengers of the nations? The Yahweh has founded Zion, and the poor of his people shall trust in it. Zion is his natural bloodline. The Negroes, who are the children of Israel, who are the Israelites. For Yahweh have mercy on Jacob. Psalm 102 and 13. You shall arise and have mercy upon Zion. Zion is a noun. Century 1300, Zion, a shoot or twig, especially one for grafting. Also figurative from Old French scion, S-I-O-N, C-I-O-N, descendant, shoot, twig, offspring. The meaning an heir, child, a descendant. Psalms 102 and 13. You shall arise and have mercy on Zion, for the time to favor her, yeah, the set time is come. Make the vision plain. And will yet choose Israel. Zechariah 1 and 17. Cry yet, saying, thus says Yahweh of hosts, my cities through prosperity shall yet be spread abroad. And Yahweh shall yet comfort Zion, and shall yet choose Jerusalem. See, it was a time when the trouble was happening, but now it's time for Zion to prosper. When he speaks about prospering, when he speaks about Zion, all he talks about is prospering. Getting booty and stuff like that. Not the nasty, filthy booty need to be washed, but the gold and silver and the treasury. That comes from him. And set them in their own land. Land of Israel. He said lands earlier. And the strangers shall be joined with them. They shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Conversion, mission of Israel, stranger. That's the northern kingdom. And the true strangers are going to be our slaves. The one that had us in captivity. And the people shall take them. Other nations shall help Israel. That's why I told you I wasn't lying to you. And I said, instead of trying to mock us, or even mock me because he sent me as a Melchizedek priest to warn you, you need to be trying to help us. Because you're surely going to die. You need to be trying to make sure I get my money. You need to be sure the Most High people get their money. And everything else belongs to us. And the people shall take them. Other nations shall help them. That's what that means. And bring them to their place. Isaiah 60:9. Surely the owl shall wait for me. And the ships of Tarshish first, to bring your sons from far, their silver and their gold with them. So he's still talking about us prospering. Unto the name of Yahweh your God. So how is this prophecy going to be fulfilled if there's no money? Now the money that's here that's ours, even if it's in their print and their script, it's still going to be converted to back by God's money. That's why I can spend their money all day long, and it's not fraudulent in my hand. Nor yours either if you're Israel and Zion. Isaiah 60:9. Surely the owl shall wait for you, wait for me. The ships of Tarshish first, to bring your sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of Yahweh your God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he has glorified you. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, slaves. And they shall take them captives, Ezekiel 39:10, so that they shall take no wood out of the field, neither cut down any out of the forest, for they shall burn the weapons with fire. They shall spoil those that spoiled them, and rob those that robbed them, says Yahweh of our God. That means he's going to take your weapon. They shall take them captives, whose captives they were. They shall rule over their oppressors. That's the kingdom of God on earth. That's the kingdom. So you want to know what the Father's kingdom be done as it is in heaven, as it is on earth? That's what he's talking about. That's the kingdom of God on earth. For us to rule over our oppressors, and we got some people trying to bring them into the kingdom. That's against what God's will. You're a false prophet. And it shall come to pass in the day that Yahweh shall give you rest from your sorrow, from your fear, from the hard bondage wherein you was made to serve. You shall take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, it's a satirical song. Satire. Let's go read what that is. Because remember they told you in U.S. they had that a satirical song against us. It was called Oppression. How I know that? I read it to you. I defined it to you for etymology, through etymology. So Most High said he reversed it back on there. Satires are now. Century 1500, a literary work, originally in verse, intended to ridicule prevailing vice or folly by scornful or contemptuous expression. You know, I'm good at that. That's why he sent me to do this work. In modern general use, a denouncing or the writing speech or writing full of sarcasm, ridicule, irony, etc., all which can express satire. So the Most High, see, man, you can tell I'm his work. All of which can express satire, the broader meaning, fact or circumstances that make someone or something look ridiculous. About 1690s. That you shall take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. So it's a satirical song. And say, how has the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. In Hebrew, perhaps insolent or proud. Yahweh has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Isaiah 9:4, for you have broken the yoke of his burden, the staff of his shoulder, the rod of his oppressor, as in the day of meeting of the wicked, who are wicked through wickedness. He will smote the people in the wrath with a continual stroke. He that rules the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindered. A continual stroke, a constant blow. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Renewal of the earth. Yeah, the fir tree rejoices at you. The cypress tree is the fir tree. And the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since you are laid down in death, no feller has come up against us. Hebrew, the tree cutter has not come upon us. So when they're out there mocking with cutting trees, they just prophesying about themselves. Because they ain't going to come against us. And that's why I'll be making satire against you. Because you told me to. Some ugly little bastards y'all be carrying around. Hell from beneath is moved for you to meet you at your coming. It stirred up the dead for you, even all the chief ones of the earth. It's raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations, disembodied spirits. All they shall speak and say unto you, are you also become weak as we? Are you become like unto us? That's what they say. Your pomp is brought down to the grave. Sheol, or the spirit world. And the noise of your vows, the worm is spread under you. And the worms cover you. How are you fallen from heaven? Revelation 8 and 10. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp. And it fell upon the third part of the rivers, upon the fountains of the waters. Talking about the Euphrates, your economy. Falling from power. O Lucifer, son of the morning. The morning star, son of the dawn, the ruler of the wicked world, Babylon, is spoken of as Lucifer, the ruler of all wickedness, the devil. How are you cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For you have said in your heart, Ezekiel 31 and 10, therefore thus says Yahweh God, because you have lifted up yourself in height, and have shot upon his top among the thick balls, and his heart is lifted up in his height. For he said in his heart, I will ascend unto the heaven, Ezekiel 31 and 10, therefore thus says Yahweh God, because you has lifted up yourself in height, he has shot up his top among the thick balls, and his heart is lifted up in height. I will ascend unto heaven. Moses 4 and 1. And I, Yahweh God, spake unto Moses, saying, that Satan, whom you commanded in the name of my only begotten, see, we command Satan in the name of Yahweh from the throne of David. That's what I do. Whom has commanded in the name of my only begotten is the same which was from the beginning. And he came before me, saying, behold, here I am. Send me. I will be your son. And I will redeem all mankind, that one soul should not be lost. And surely I will do it. Well, forgive me your honor. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. Selfishness. Counsel in heaven. Most High looked at him and, hey, Mike, kick this sucker out of him. Not really did was in his true only begotten son. As he fired Satan, Lucifer, Esau, and Japheth. One people. Including Nimrod and his people. I will sit up also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. That's what Satan said. Example, dwelling of the gods according to the Babylonian belief. Who are the gods that in Zion? Have you ever read your gods? Psalm 48 and 2. Beautiful for situation. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion on the side of the north. The king of the city of the great king. But Satan, that's why he put his place to try to colonizers. But you notice they had to take them titles off. That's what I made the vision plain. The Most High made it plain through me, put it that way. It's like the heathen are raging outside. I know you hear that. See, I always give my Father the glory. I don't try to steal his glory. Why should it when he's already exalted me and Zion? I'm not like the devil. I'm not like Esau. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. That's what the devil said. Doctrine and Covenants 29, 36 through 37. And it came to pass that Adam, being tempted of the devil, behold, the devil was before Adam. For he rebelled against me, saying, give me your honor, which is my power. So when you have honor, that's the power of God, of the true and living God, Yahweh. Anoki said. And also a third part of the host of heaven turned he away from me because of their agency. They were thrust down, and thus came the devil and his angels. That's why I said, rejoice, you heavens. But woe to you of the earth and the sea, for the devil and his angels come down to you with great wrath, knowing he has but a short time. And this we saw also, and bear record, that an angel of God who was in authority in the presence of God, who rebelled against the only begotten Son, whom the Father loved, and who was in the bosom of the Heavenly Father, was thrust down from the presence of God and the Son. And was called perdition. For the heavens wept over him. He was Lucifer, a son of the morning. And we beheld, and lo, he is fallen, he is fallen. What did he say about Babylon? Babylon is fallen, it's fallen. And it's become a dwelling place for all the foul birds and spirits. That's his angel. Even a son of the morning. That's all these devils out there running. That's running amok in the streets right now. That's raging. Gang stalking. And while we were yet in the Holy Spirit, Yahweh commanded us that we should write the vision. We beheld Satan, that old serpent, even the devil. Some people say Satan is not the devil. The scriptures told you exactly who he is. Esau, the Edomites, the other nations, and some of Jacob that was with them. For we beheld Satan, also called that old serpent, even the devil, who rebelled against God and sought to take the kingdom of our God and his Christ, Messiah. He sought to do that. That's what their New World Order was all about. That's what George Bush said. And once we're successful, and we will, he found out how successful that he was too. Because allegedly, they killed him. Along with the rest of them evil bastards. Wherefore he maketh war with the saints of God. I read that to you in the books of remembrance. And compasseth them around about with gang stalkers. And the Most High counteracts that too. Psalm 34:7. The angels of Yahweh encamps around those who fear him. He delivers them. Isaiah 14:15. Yet you shall be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Damnation. Death, spiritual first. See, we the church of the firstborn, you the church of the devil, of the firstborn of death and damnation. Hell, spirits in prison. And that, you go look a little further into that's your people in your churches and in political places. That's why you blind, you think you blessed, but Satan is blessing you. It's read to you, only way you're going to be blessed eternally and temporally and eternally is through the God of truth. They that see you the kings of Babylon, the preceding verses 12 through 15 apply to either Lucifer or the king, that Roman Catholic Pope. There's no longer a king. Told you last time he wrote something, he only uses his real name. Isaiah 14, 12 through 15. How are you fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How are you cut down to the ground? We did weaken the nation. For you have said in your heart, I will ascend to the heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I'll sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I'll ascend above the heights of the clouds. I'll be like the Most High. Yet you should be brought low down to hell, to the sides of the pit. And the Most High, I felt in my conscience and my spirit to end it there for you to eat on that. Bring, the Most High said the same, I'll bring you the rest tomorrow. All praises to know he said. In the name of Yahweh.